Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're watching the grand finals of EMEA. This time around, it's a little bit of a surprise. The underdogs have kind of gone through, but at the same time, Totem, they're not really underdogs, but you get what I mean. First grand final appearance for ECP and Totem. So if you guys want me to cover any other esports games, let me know down in the comment section below, but we're diving into EMEA today. I could also break down, like, there was a Zeta versus SK match which went down, which was just crazy. There was also Humble versus Totem, which was crazy. SK versus ECP in the semi-finals, which was crazy as well. But of course, today we're going to be breaking down this. So this is literally the perfect way to learn how to play Brawl Stars in terms of, you know, improving in ranked, in just overall game sense, learning who counters who. So I definitely recommend watching as many esports games as you can, but even the grand final is perfect because it's the best of the best. So enough waffling, let's get into the draft then. So Kaboom Canyon, you can see the best bans are on the right hand side. So it's Chuck, Angelo, and the third one you can't see is Melody. Of course, Melody is banned. All of the best brawlers right there. So Crow is an interesting one. Crow is actually underrated in Heist a little bit, and Kaboom Canyon used to be always the go-to. I don't know if he's good enough here though. They must have been cooking up something in the draft. In terms of other bans, we've seen Buzz as a late pick. We see Amber, who's very, very strong in the meta, and Charlie. So Colette, Nani's good into a direct counter to Piper and a decent counter to Crow. And then we go with Eve. So Eve's just a solid brawler, good at picking up the loose ends, you know, good for probably getting kills on Crow, confirming kills, and of course Eve can just go into mid straight away. I will say Colette's going to struggle against most of these. I would probably end up going, yeah, Brock, okay. I was about to say maybe a Bell, but Brock for more consistent damage. That is pretty good. You know, Brock's going to be just okay into everything here. It's interesting to see what gadget OP uses. You know, in Heist, typically Piper can actually do okay into Nani because Nani would be using the teleport gadget, whilst Piper won't have to be dealing with the return to sender. So we kind of see that fight fare off a little bit differently in Heist. Everywhere else, you know, Nani would absolutely hard counter Piper. So this is going to be an interesting matchup in terms of the draft. I think it's quite even, but I would actually prefer the Totem draft, mainly because of the fact that Colette's not really going to get a lot of, you know, like see that, literally trip down. She's not going to get a lot of value against a lot of these compositions. Brawlers on the enemy team, sorry. And we see here Mara's going to get a good tap onto Gugu. He's going to be one shot. That's going to be the kill confirmed as well. And that's two people down already. And damage is going to start raining in. This is what I'm talking about. Claire, of course, is so good in Heist. But now in the meta, the past couple of months, since she got that hypercharge nerf, she's still good. She still will get you good damage, but it's kind of reliant off your teammates to push up, and then Colette can get into a safe spot to then super onto the safe. So that's just where kind of Colette is in the meta right now. But then again, it just takes like one good push up from you and your team, and for you to get one good hypercharge super on a safe, and it can pretty much overlap that. So good super from OP. That's what I like about good players that play with Colette, is that they're not afraid to use their super in scenarios like that. Some people just hold on to the Colette super, and then they just never end up even getting close. Just use your super. Try and connect it onto one person. Then that can give you a good shield buff. You know, use your gadget, push up the map, and then by then, you can cycle your super. See here, OP's got his super. Now he's going to go for the high safe. He's probably going to get... Actually, no, he doesn't even get targeted upon return. So now they're in a really good position. This where could get dangerous for Totem because Crow just isn't a great brawler, right? Like, Crow's run out of gadgets. Now he's got hypercharge, but he's still going to be okay. He does have his super as well. Let's see how much damage Crow does, okay? Let's see if they can actually... I think they should be able to finish this with one Crow hypercharge jump. This should be over. It should have probably just gone in by then. He goes in right now. Doesn't actually get behind the safe, but it doesn't really matter. I think Totem going to rain enough damage on. Yeah, OP, I don't know. It's game over at that point. But it doesn't even matter. Good from Totem, to be fair. They did really well to regain control. I thought there was a certain point in time where it actually looked pretty good for ECP, but Totem fight back. So in terms of the journey these two teams have faced, Totem have lost in the quarterfinals to SK twice in a row, I think, in the other monthly finals. ECP, I can't remember if they didn't qualify for one of the monthly finals. I don't think they actually qualified for this one, but there was a lot of drama on Twitter. I don't want to go really into it, but I think like a team was disqualified, I'm pretty sure. And that's how they made it into the monthly final. I think that's what happened. I can't remember. So much went on with drama on Twitter over the past 2 weeks, but we're in a good position now. Anyways, Gugu pushing really far up. He's actually using return to sender, which is pretty interesting. I think he's using return to sender. That's why I just saw the the gadget come out there. So this time around, ECP getting some good pinches, good kill onto Crow right there from Gugu. And yeah, that's definitely much better, because last game the Totem got like 40%, wasn't it, in like the first push, which is definitely what you don't want to happen. This time around, they definitely have any Gugu on the Piper. But he'd, well, let's get some decent damage. Mebius with a good super already. That's going to be the pinch onto Ope. Now Mebius getting the kill onto Chaos. That is a really good play. Eve is actually hard to kill a Crow because Eve's projectiles are super slow, whilst Crow, of course, is a fast brawler. But just some good taps on Mebius. Gugu's getting some good taps onto Maru as well. A really well-timed super. This is beautiful from ECP at the moment. Maru with some good juke. So how has he stayed alive there? Fair play. Does get trickled down a little bit. But, I mean, this deficit can definitely be overhauled by Totem once they push back, but ECP are just managing to deal with this so easily. Maru's not even using his hypercharge super there, does actually use it onto Gugu in the end, does confirm the kill as well. And that's the problem with Nani though, is that you don't have a teleport to get out of danger or anything like that. I still probably would have gone with TP, just because, I don't know, maybe you could force yourself onto a different matchup rather than the Piper. Maybe you could force yourself on a Brock, something like that, but still, Gugu's trying to get the matchup as much as possible, but you see here, is it Maru the Piper? He literally takes the long route just to not get on that Nani lane. That's how much return to sender counters the Piper. So Ope with some decent, I would say, value with his life there, but Chaos got some good jukes about him. He's got his hypercharge super. They're really need to focus him, but if you're focusing him that much and not get him down that quickly, then Maru and Maru will literally be able to get damaged themselves. Here comes Chaos's hypercharge super. That's going to do a lot of damage to the safe, and that's going to clutch it up. That hypercharge super does so much damage. Definitely much better that time around. And I guess that is the overall game plan. They should be able to confirm this win right here, and they do. So just one Crow hypercharge super wins it. I mean, he's underrated on Kumbu Canyon. I don't really think he's meta in other heist maps. I've seen it play out in South America, for example, but I think that's like the first time I've really seen it in EMEA. So that's going to be the first set. Going to reply Totem pretty convincingly in the end. Let's hop into the next one. All right, guys, so jumping into set number 2, we've got Brawl Beach Ball. As you can see again by the bans on your screen, the best 3 brawlers according to reply Totem on this map are Melody, Surge, and Sandy. So like I said, Surge pretty good in the meta right now. Nita as a first pick, which again is pretty good, but the thing about Nita early on in the draft, it can get countered out a little bit easier. I did watch, I think, a game of Beach Ball earlier today where Mebius was on the Nita, and it was pretty insane. I think they played a bit of Buster as well, so watch out for that. Max, so this is a brawler I didn't really touch on last time around because Max isn't best in heist, but Mebius on the Max today has been insane. That's why I kind of want to break down some more games, because the Max gameplay was just off the charts. And the thing about Max, you can counter it, but at the same time, it's just aggression can win games. A lot of the time, if you're too defensive, the opponents, you know, if you're willing to take risks, especially in Brawl Stars, it would more than likely pay off as long as you don't do some silly throws. And this is what I'm hoping ECP carry on with. So this is the wrong map, by the way, on the screen. So Stu, pretty good. I mean, it's good into Max, it's good into Gareth. It will be able to get supers pretty consistently, and they go with a Buster as well, like I was talking about. So to me, this is exactly what ECP want, because they should go about Nita and Buster again, what they won within a quarterfinals. So of course this is something they're looking for. In terms of like drafting as well, I will say Spike. Okay, Spike is good against Stu, good against Nita. Bit wary of the Spike though, because good players can dodge curveball. Not too sure whether all the people on ECP can dodge curveball at the moment, but I'm pretty sure in 2024, every single pro, if you want to become pro, you need to dodge curveball. Let's just say that. It's just essential in competitive play. I do like the draft of, I don't even know, it's a bit lopsided. Like Max can be pretty good, but then it's a bit, I think Totem at the moment, they kind of lack a true aggressive player. The most aggressive player on the team probably is Maru. You know, normally he has like Primo and a few aggressive brawlers within his brawler pool. You know, Chaos is decent Max, but he's typically on other brawlers, so it'll be interesting to see. Maybe he's a bit more of a defensive Max, which can definitely work out. We're going for another wall break here, which is definitely going to be essential to countering the Nita. This is what I talk about with Nita, but this should be a goal from Ope surely here. Even with the Spike, yeah, the Spike just can't deal with that, so a good goal from ECP to level things off. So yeah, as I was waffling on about, what was I waffling on about? Oh yeah, reply Totem in the past, the kind of things that I was struggling with, I guess, is a new team. But the main thing they were struggling with in the past is why they haven't made it to the finals was their drafts. Some of their drafting was really bad. The drafting definitely has improved, but that's like a focal point of ECP. The way they drafted against SK Gaming was beautiful. And they've got Joker on the team, they've got Pedro, they've got all of these masterminds behind the scene. And ECP to outdraft them, you know, of course, outplay them. It was just beautiful to watch. So both of these teams are pretty hot in the draft at the moment, and that's why I speak about it so much in my videos, because draft is so important in esports at the moment. Like, all of these players are insanely talented. Like, they're just as good as each other. Like, they've been scrimming for so long. Of course, some people might have a little bit of the edge, especially when it comes down to game day, in terms of nerves, how to handle that. But the draft can literally just win you games if you get a good draft. Oh, you see what Totem do right there. That is absolutely beautiful. I think they both got that hypercharge super. So that's why Chaos was able to cycle through to max super. So that's one thing I was going to pick up on if I did my max guide. Learning how to do that with the hypercharge is essential to success. So essentially what he did, if you don't know, one of those energy drinks I think will give you 25% of your supercharge, but if you stand in the same spot as someone else, that means both of you can get 2 energy drinks, because it's just how the hypercharge works. So that was quite beautiful. We've got 15 seconds left here, just Mebius left on defense. They made it a little bit scary, to be honest. That should have definitely been a much easier way to score. But in overtime, I think Totem just have the edge. Nita and Buster have no range to them, while Spike, Griff, and Max all have would definitely have the edge here. So ECP worst case scenario here would have hoped to kind of clutch to hold on here, but Mebius is just doing things on the stew. Not too sure why Totem really put the ball in the corner there, considering they definitely have the better composition. I guess they just wanted to keep control. But here comes Mebius. He's been absolutely insane today. Get some good pressure. Gugu gets... Okay, he gets 3 shots here. I'm not too sure. That was a bit of a wasted... he tried it. Like, I like what he was trying, but at the same time, he was 1 shot. Probably would have been better just to dive and push up with his hypercharge Nita super. Now he's nowhere close to Bear, but it's some good aggression from ECP. Considering they're just getting so outranged, they've been able to hold on for a long while. Gugu pops hypercharge just to waste a little bit of time. It's looking like ECP are holding on for dear life here. This is pretty well played from them. I'm again unsure from Totem. Maybe they think that they haven't got the better overtime composition. In my mind, they definitely have. I know it takes a lot of team play to chip the opponents down, because there's a lot of HP on the side of ECP. They've got Buster, they've got Nita, and they've got Stu, who was able to chain supers. I think if they didn't feed Stu so well, that's just fair play to Mebius. They would have had a much better chance in overtime. You get what I mean? You know, if Stu had no super, that means none of them would have had range. I still think Totem should have done a little bit more in overtime. But again, we go for a couple of wall breaks here from Maru. This is what I don't like about EU Brawl sometimes, is that sometimes it can be a little bit like play for the draw. You know, I guess there's a lot on the line, but in other regions, that's why I like watching NA, because they don't mess about in NA. They just run at each other, pure skill. Like, they don't care if they like lose a set. Like, they're not putting the ball in the corner pretty much most of the time. That's why I enjoy watching that and commentating over it. So now we've got the ball out of the corner. I'm not too sure. They're really heavily focusing on the pinch with Maru there from Mebius. He kind of just ignored iChaos there, which was fair play. I don't think... Is Maru using 4th an extra gadget gear on Griff? I probably would have gone with that, to be honest, considering your only kind of gameplay is to break open the map. Mebius doing a fantastic job staying alive there. He is gliding on the stew, and he's been doing just so good. Like, Mebius has always had that kind of skill to him. I think the only thing we're letting him down and past was, I think, where he lived. I don't think he had the best like Wi-Fi connection. You can see here they've all like traveled to the same location, all on Ethernet, all I think in Germany where the servers are. So you can see he's just absolutely gliding on the stew at the moment. Hypercharge max super goes down. No one actually gets the energy drink though, so maybe a little bit of a waste there, but it does get some good chip damage on the OP. The way that OP is just staying alive all of the time is just great. Like, I know he's not getting many kills, and you might not see it in the stats, but just playing with your life that much, it is hard with Buster. You're just constantly getting chipped down. And we've seen his Buster in the World Finals is absolutely insane. He was just playing Buster everywhere, and it always seemed to work out. Gugu's done a fantastic job on sneaking down the left-hand side here. This is looking for a good opportunity for ECP. We've got a Buster gadget here. Unfortunately, Gugu gets chipped down. A good super from Maru, though. And that's going to be a super quick kick up. And that might be the Totem goal. Okay, no, it's not. That was a bit of a wasted from Super kick from Maru. So overtime again is looming. I'm just hoping there's not going to be another draw. Like, please, we don't want any more draws. Overtime is looming. I think this is what beach ball is about. Like, whenever I play it on ranked and ladder, it is a bit more slower paced. The Brawl Ball sometimes can be like that. I don't know whether there needs to be like something in overtime to increase the aggression or something. I don't know. Like, there was this problem a lot in the past in EMEA where there was just too many draws, too many 0-0s. And it's not fun for either side of spectator. I don't know why Gugu is using stun, by the way. Maybe to stop the max, but I just think stun's only really needed against tanks. Well, that's going to be Totem chipping them down, and that's much better this time around. That's how the first interaction should have gone in the previous game. Yeah, that's just much better from Totem. I just think it's just clearly their game plans to open up the map to counter the Nita, and that's what I'm saying about Nita first pick, is that that's how you counter Nita. Is by opening up the map. Griff, you know, Ruffs, all of these brawlers that have wall break capabilities, because she's just never going to get better. She has very limited range. It's always been the way to counter Nita, you know. I've knew that for years. Literally, Spike as well. It's always been a brawler to counter Nita. So it's all down to ECPs to get in the early engagement, and this is what they're doing fantastically. Literally, as I was speaking about it right here. They wanted to win the early engagement because the longer the game goes on, the more the map opens up and the worse they're going to get. So they need to score early on. That's exactly what they did. I'm kind of surprised Mebius is using wall break though. Maybe to try and like confirm some kills, but I think that's kind of playing into their hands even more using that gadget, by the way. This is one thing to note. Without Ope has his super, does get a good pull on Maru, and now I would say they need to go on aggressive. They need to probably end up scoring now and not leave it late like last time. Ope does get chipped down a little bit though. Gugu's in some good position here. Same with Ope. They're in the open though. Maybe it might be able to get like a triple kill here. That's 2 members down from Totem, and now ECP are surely going to be able to score this one. And now that is a much quicker game. That's what I wanted to see. Some good adaptations from ECP. Like I said, they knew they needed to score early on. They couldn't wait until overtime. They probably thought in the second game, like, oh, it went to overtime. It's not the worst if it goes there. But Totem, of course, just playing textbook. You can actually see them playing on the iPad there. Are they doing good? Are they doing good? Okay, there we go. We're going to the game. That's what I find hilarious. Of course, there has to be some type of delay because it's the way that production works. All right, maybe it's again with some good aggression. Ope doesn't get the gadget that he wants, but in a couple of seconds, he's going to have another one. Maybe it's in a great position to score here. Gugu gets the kill as well. Chaos is staying alive so well, buying his time for his teammates to respawn, and that's going to clutch up the goal right there. So this is where things get scary for ECP. They can't afford to lose this set. Going 2 sets down in the grand final, it's very rare that reverse sweeps do happen. So yeah, they need as much momentum as they can get. I'm trying to see, is Maru using business resilience? I don't think he's actually using business resilience. No, he's not. He's using the other star power. I guess he's using that because against like Buster, against Nita, they have a lot of HP. And what I've been noticing as well is that people are using shield gear on Nita. She has a lot of HP. I think it's because when you have a really bad matchup, I think it's good to have the shield gear on. That's my guess. Because it's going to be pretty hard to deal with all of these guys in the open, so that extra bit of HP might help her out. My guess as well, I think she's using damage gear. I guess like speed gear is not really needed on this map, to be honest, only really in the middle. But that's just one thing I kind of noticed. I don't know, my mind's quite funny with that because I'm not buying the shield gear with Nita, you know what I mean? That would be a complete waste. You want speed pet gear or damage most of the time. But that's going to be a pinch down onto Gugu. Chaos this time, I think they managed to get the plus 25% supercharge. I don't know if I like that mechanic. Do you guys like that mechanic? I feel like it should just be thrown onto your teammates anyway, because you think if all of your team has to stand still, that means, I don't know, you're a little bit more vulnerable. It also means that you're wasting some of your hypercharge. So by the time you've like used it, your energy drinks came out, you've probably got like 3 seconds left to actually run at the opponents. And the hypercharge is supposed to be fun. So if you're, I don't know, I don't really like that mechanic personally. I'd rather just it automatically go to your teammates and then maybe make the supercharge a little bit less, like 15% even. You know, that would be much better in terms of me, but now the pressure's coming down and ECP need to get this early pressure in for overtime. Mebius is doing a fantastic job. OP is managing to stay alive here. A lot of pinches going down. I don't know how this is going to fare out. ECP's 2 members down already, just Mebius left. I don't think he's got the ammo to really deal with Mara right here. Max Super coming in, and that's going to be the slot in from Totem, and that's going to be them going 2 sets up to 0. They're looking fantastic so far. Of course, Totem, they're known around the scene. They're known for going for the World Finals multiple years in a row. Maru and Mari and iChaos are literally veterans in the game, so they're looking pretty strong here in the final. Let's hop into the next set. All right, guys, jumping into set number 3, we don't have Beach Ball again. I'm kind of what's the map? I hate it when they actually mess this up. So let me rewind it. Okay, it's Gem 4. I didn't even have to rewind it. Okay, Gem 4. They go with a Max first pick, which is pretty good in terms of the bans. I'm always interested to see. So the Poco ban on Gem 4, it's actually pretty good. Jesse to counteract the Max, I don't really know about that. Sandy and Jean also the bans, and then Stu, Amber, Charlie, so you know they're just good like filler picks. Stu, I guess like late picks aren't as important on Gem 4 by the looks of things. Chaos going for the Surge, which I've seen a lot in scrims at the moment. Of course, there's a lot of grass, going to allow Surge to feed levels easier. You also got to be scared of the Rosa, and of course in a Max composition this is what can happen. So Max, Rosa, they can't really triple down with the aggression because probably will just go Shelly and win the game, or like A and M. So go with a Nita. Okay, yeah, that is much better at this time around. Nita's a very strong brawler in the meta, like S tier, especially on ladder. But in draft, it's a little bit harder to play Nita outside of some of her best game modes because it is easy to just fundamentally as a brawler. It's easy to counter, and go with a Griff again. Okay, so we're going for the same strategy. At least Griff is good at opening up the map, especially against Rosa, against the Nita. I'm surprised at the pick rate for Griff at the moment. Very surprised. I mean, Reply Totem obviously must be onto something with the meta. I think he has gone under the radar a little bit. Me personally, I'm a bit too harsh towards Griff, but at the same time, they are only really using Griff to open up the map. Like, of course, he's decent for damage, and he's decent against these brawlers, but they're literally, fundamentally, the reason you pick Griff is to open up the map, okay? I stand by my word in that point. So, the problem is with Griff, though, you're opening up the map, and Jesse, you don't really want the map opened up with, because against a Max in the open, a good Max like Mebius, you're just not going to win that interaction whatsoever. So, Mara's actually using Power Surge instead of Shield. I don't know how I really feel about that. You should be able to get your levels easily against this composition, especially Nitra as well. Like, Surge should be able to win that interaction pretty comfortably. So maybe it's already got 5 gems his way. I'm kind of, I don't know. The thing is, like, with Max, there's a lot of mind games in competitive. I'm always under the impression if they have a good Max, but I mean, you got to probably prepare for it beforehand, right? But in the moment, you know, as a fan, I'm like, bro, if I see Mebius on the Max and he's just tearing things up, just straight up ban it. Like, if he's that good at, and you know, Max is a bannable brawler, just ban it. It's like at the World Finals, for example. Like, Max wasn't the best brawler, but because Tensai's so good at Max, just ban it. Like, plain and simple, just ban it. But I mean, maybe they've got a way to counter it this time around. I guess that could also, it could work in your favor and it could work against you. Like, if, you know, for example, ECP just love the Max, surely there's a way to, in the draft, to figure out how to counter it, right? And the problem with Max is that they Max can counter a lot of the meta brawlers, especially just because of the super. You know, bad matchups can just turn against them just because of one super. It looks like OP is going to go in here, get the kill onto Jesse, but the problem is now there's a hypercharged turret in that pocket. How are you going to get that down? There's just no way you're going to get that down. 8 to 8 now. Maru's in a good position with the Surge. The slow goes down, but I don't know, like, Rosa's not really going to do too much here. I feel like Rosa's only going to be great when there's like a Sandy as well in the mix. Maybe it's just barely staying alive. Nita just hasn't got the range to compete. And I'm just loving the way Totem are countering ECP at the moment. It seems like they've finally got the draft figured out at the moment. Jesse should be able to get the kill onto Nita. Okay, Jesse goes down. There might be a sliver of chance here from ECP. Nah, there's just too little time and too little range from ECP. So Totem are 1 game away from winning the grand finals. It's a lot different to my videos normally on EMEA. Normally it's like, for the past 2 have been like 40-minute videos, you know, it's gone down to like set number 5, last game of, you know, last round of the set. But now it's looking like a clean sweep. This will be very anticlimactic because EMEA has been so close this time around. I'm hoping ECP can at least get one set, make things a little bit interesting. So if we go with the double stacking strategy, which definitely can work out if Totem don't expect it. It seems like they might have expected it a little bit though. OP is going to get pinched out quite heavily. I don't know, a disciplined team like Totem, it's hard to play against that when they're breaking open the map, keeping a distance, pinching really well. Again, learn a few things. If you're struggling to counter Nita, which a lot of people are, you can do this strategy, but at the same time, a max speed can give Nita that edge. And that's what Mebius probably needs to do a little bit better. Well, Gugu and Mebius need to play together a little bit more. I think Rosa's pretty much a lost cause here. Like, there's just so many bad matchups for her. She's just there to distract. Like, you really need to work with your Nita a little bit more, give her the speed, get in range, charge that hypercharge as much as possible. That's a really good super from Maru, able to establish a lot of control. OP on the flank as well. This is looking so much better. They just need one gem, surely. Oh, and they managed to get the hypercharge super in time. Maybe it's just go down, but need that 10th gem. It's literally sitting right there. OP with a hypercharge super. All three members of ECP as well do have hypercharges to turn things around. Maru pops his, I think, is like one shot. Oh wait, yeah, he's got his super now. And this is where it's going to fall apart again, isn't it? It's the same story as last time. It feels like ECP have such a strong start, and then they slip up a little bit, just a little bit, and that's all it takes against the top teams, and Totem can just get all of that control. Gugu pops hypercharge just to give him some space and speed to get into the middle. I think that was actually a decent play, and now OP with a perfect time super. The gem spawn isn't friendly for him though, and Totem just reestablished control, and I think they'll take this. They surely got to be able to take this hypercharge. Jesse turret is just immovable. Looks like Maru gets the kill onto Google as well. OP does get a kill onto Chaos. Okay, OP is just carrying. Okay, OP. Okay, that is what they needed. They needed that X factor right there. The camera was focusing a little bit too down there, but OP gets a double kill in the end and secures maybe a very important shift in the tides. If they can get this momentum now, then they can run away with it. I mean, ECP should have easily won that game in my opinion. I feel like there's just a few things that they struggled on. At the start, it was beautiful, so well played. They got a double stack of the lane, they kept up the aggression. If they can just keep that and keep collecting the gems in the middle, like I always say with gem grab, it's actually underrated how pros play at gem grab. You think it's just collect gems, you know, but like getting pressure so your gem carrier can then collect the gems safely is just so underrated. Like, I don't know, OP in his stats might look like he's going like 0 and 12, but the pressure that he can get a lot of time is just outstanding. So Gugu might be able to win that 1v1 yet. I mean, I kind of get why he's using power surge, but at the same time, like, come on, you're easily going to get your super against these guys. You may as well use power shield, and it just means that you will not ever lose a 1v1. That's my take on it anyways. Gugu's again playing really good on the Nita this time around. Does get the bear, doesn't follow up with any cycling though, so I don't know how to feel about that bear, but it doesn't matter. There's 6 gems up, nearly 7 gems up at the moment, and this is just Mebius on the max. And now Gugu's, unfortunately couldn't get into range. This is where Totem again do start to cook up once they get control of the middle. Finally, after a little while, Gugu's going to manage to stay alive. Maybe it's going to help him push up down the lane. We've got OP again in the spawn. One thing I've noticed that Chaos hasn't broken open any of the lanes. I'm not too sure why. Maybe like I feel like he needs to get that Rosa out, like a one gadget down the lane like he did in the first round of the set would definitely do a lot better for them. He cycles his super though on a Rosa, but this is where the max super comes in on Gugu. Just 2 gems is all they need. Gugu has his hyper charge already, should have his bear pretty soon as well. Maybe this is just playing so aggressive. Holy, that is insane how aggressive he just played there. It may not look like the flashiest of plays, but oh, that gem was just lurking, but it doesn't matter. Gugu has a hypercharge, needs a bear. They'd likely want to get there we go, there's the 10th gem. I was about to say, like, you know, in your head, like, maybe this is like, come on, I just need that 10th gem, and then Gugu and OP can just go in here. Here's the hypercharge from OP, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the synergy here from ECP, and they've just been looking beautiful in this set. So a little bit of a fight back, we love to see it. It's going to set 4. Let's jump into it. All right guys, so heading into set number 4, we have Canal Grande, and boy is this map a cheesy one. Again, I'm watching some scrims, and this map just looks like hell to play. It really does. I hope they remove this from the rotation. Like, Canal Grande used to be so fun. One of my favorite maps in the past, but I'm talking like 3 years ago now, where the meta was like Brock, Piper, and the Thrower. But you'll see here, I mean, I'm hoping the gameplay is a little bit better in the grand finals, but I just don't think that will be the case at all. So, in terms of the best picks on this map, looks like it's Jean, Sandy, and waiting for the third pick here, Angelo, which again pretty standard. A bit surprised by the Sandy, but I guess Sandy's always been pretty good on Canal Grande. They go with the Eve, which has always been good on Canal Grande. They go with Cordelius, which I would say takes a lot more skill to play Cordelius on a map like this. You know, me myself, I can't really play Cordelius on Canal Grande, but pros, they've been playing Cordelius everywhere today. He's still one of the best brawlers in the game easily. They've been playing him a lot in Bounty. It just must be the Bounty meta. I guess you can just push up on like Hideout. You can push up on this map. They go with a Willow, so I mean, Willow is pretty underrated in the sense like she's just like a better version of Barley, and Barley used to be pretty strong on this map. And they go with Shelly. Okay, not too sure what to think about the Shelly. I guess they're really scared of the tank last pick, but at the same time, now ECP have a great chance to counter this. Can't really think of anyone off the top of my head. I've got the brawler screen on my head. I would, I don't know whether we'll go with a Thrower. Let me see. I mean, the pick's probably going to come on the screen any second. I would probably go with like a Squeak maybe, or maybe Great. They go with a Barley. Okay, that's pretty decent. That's not too bad, especially considering there's a Carl. I mean, Barley's just going to be good against Willow. Well, okay against Willow and good against Shelly. It's going to be bad against Carl, but I'm guessing they want to put the Cordelius on the Carl. They want to put Eve in the middle, just do Eve things, and then Barley can just go against Thrower or with Shelly. I mean, I don't think Cordelius has a bad matchup against Shelly either, so I think it's just down to trying to contain the Carl here. It'll be an interesting fight. For me, again, you'll see Canal Grande. It's just pretty much about who wins the first engagement and who establishes control in the middle, because once you lose control in the middle, it's pretty much game over. And that's why I hate Canal Grande, because it's just spawn trap central. So a fight in the middle here between Eve and the Carl. Of course, Carl's going to collect the first star. Maybe it's this time around, gets a really good connection onto the Shelly, and ECP have the lead. So the thing is, it's not really gone the way that I said, because not always seems like just go down one particular lane. You see here, Maru's going to try and go down the right. I guess he kind of has to do that, because as the game goes on, like if ECP are just on the right and then Totem on the left, then Totem are not really going to win the game. So they need to send someone down the right hand side. Maru is pretty much the best Shelly in the world, by the way. Like if you take yourself back to, I think it was Japan about this time last year, just about, when Shelly was underrated. She got that speed buff right. No one really thought she was good. Maru was the person to take Shelly to the top of the meta. But like I said, Cordelius against Shelly should be pretty decent. I'm actually surprised Mebius didn't get the kill there. Maru stayed alive, so fair play to him. Mebius should be able to get the kill onto the Willow, which he does. Carl gets the kill onto Gugu though, and still, I don't know, Carl's in a really bad position. Just get taken down by Mebius, and bro, Mebius is insane. Like, he's actually just crazy on any type of aggressive brawler. I'm not too sure if it's semi-final or something. I swear I've seen the stat, and he got like over 20 kills with Cordelius. It was insane. I think I missed that game because I've been a bit busy today, but obviously Cordelius is a good brawler for him. So only 2 stars up. They need to get a kill on Mebius or a kill on Gugu and Ope. So that's looking very unlikely, to be honest. Shelly super coming in. Mebius actually misses the super, and that could be costly. Here comes the flying hook from Maru. Oh, maybe it's a really well timed jump, but that's going to be a kill from Chaos. And all players are just going down like crazy, and Totem managed to swindle their way to get the win. I've just got to say, that's definitely a choke from ECP. It just is. Like, the miss Cordelius super is unfortunate because Mebius played that so well, but it's things that can cost them, because if he connects that super, he can just run away really easily. I don't know, maybe if someone from ECP just needs to be a bit aggressive, because literally 2 players from ECP could have died there, and I think they still would have been winning. So unfortunate for them, but that's just where good players separate themselves from others, is by those clutch moments, and Totem just always seemed to have that, especially with Maru and Maurice. So I mean, that's definitely better for Totem. Now they're split up, and it's where things can get pretty shady for the other team. Maru's going to go for the kill there. You got to be careful because since Carl got that damage buff a couple of months ago, the interactions has changed, and I'm pretty sure that 2 pieces of ammo can literally kill Eve. So Eve's got to be really careful with that interaction now. You can see here, one more Carl hit and she's dead. Again, like, Gugu's got to go down the far left just because of the pinches, and it's just playing horribly, Canal Grande. There's just not much space to move. It's just a bunch of like chipping back and forth, camping in the bush, waiting for someone to kind of overextend. Maru uses a gadget here. I'm guessing he's trying to build his way up to the hypercharge and just chip the opponents down. You may as well at that point. Again, Gugu can't really afford to over-aggress on Tamari. Like a good Carl will just eat Eve alive. Chaos is just shooting that bush. Like, that's his sole purpose in Canal Grande. Just actually get 2 good connections, and now I think he's 1 shot away from his super. It's interesting Gugu's not using the mythic gear on Eve, and he's not using shields, so my guess is using reload and maybe vision gear, perhaps. I'm not really clocked on the 2nd gear at the moment. Maybe damage gear, not entirely sure. Well, here comes the pressure from ECP. I mean, Maru with a really well-timed gadget, but the slow really saved Ope's life there. I'm glad Maru didn't actually over-aggress there. It looks like Maru, I keep getting tongue twisted in this set, able to get the kill with Shelly. OP is on his own here. Maru probably should have got the kill there. Doesn't really matter. 5 stars, 8 seconds left. I don't think ECP have a single way to actually get this set win. And there's the 5 stars for the Shelly there. And that's going to be Totem winning the first monthly final of the year. You love to see it. I love the guys on Totem. They're just so humble, especially Chaos. He's had a lot of like hardship over the past few years, you know, with SK and stuff like that. Last year was pretty hard for him, and he's always been a really good player for EU. Commiserations for ECP though. They definitely were the underdogs, and to even reach the grand finals, that's a good feat, right? Like, you take those BSC points on the board and hopefully try and chug your way to the world finals, which is the end of the year. I mean, there's only 2 monthly finals left at this point in time, by the way, so every single monthly final matters. But GG's to Totem. I'm happy to see them boys back at the top. Everyone underrated them, myself included. I didn't think they would win it today, but kind of proving the doubters wrong with their drafting. They played things pretty insane. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.